Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodaway449 here. It's been a little while since I've done an update. As you may have been if you've been watching my channel, I've done quite a few other videos in the meantime though. So yeah, this is a little update. I haven't done a huge amount on the scenery and stuff. I've been obviously distracted by other videos and doing some other bits and bobs. But what I have done I think looks quite good. So I'll just get these locos out of the way. Go. And let me go back in the middle, and as you can see I've done quite a bit of ballasting. I've done this board completely now, so this board here is completely done, which is good actually, because it means it gives me a very good starting point. And the other thing I've noticed is the ballasting is almost the exact colour that I wanted, so I was really happy that I managed to find the colour rather than having to mix the colour. Obviously that's cheaper and a lot easier, as well as that it means I can just go to Gauge Master and pick up another bag and it'll be exactly the same colouring, so that's really good. That is one thing if you're doing ballasting. If you're worried that the colour might disappear or something, or the colour might change, then whenever you go and buy your ballast, buy, like, I don't know, if you've got a layout that is 8 foot by 4 foot, you know, a board, you'll probably need 2 bags of ballast if you've got like 3 main lines and so on. But basically I just buy too much ballast for what you need. So in my case I only brought 1 bag because I only needed 1 bag, and Gauge Master are quite a big company, so I wouldn't expect them to change the colour or to go out of business or anything like that. So I'm alright doing that. But if I went to like my local model shop and they do their own brand, I'd probably buy like 6 or 8 bags at once, and then whatever I have left over at the end, you know, you can stick it on eBay to sell if you want to, or you can just keep it in a box for storage, and that way you get the same coloured ballast for the whole of your layout. And it just looks, well, it can look a bit strange if one half of your layout's grey and the other half is brown ballast, unless you're sort of doing like main line and branch line and so on. But anyway, that's enough about ballast. So what did I do? Well, obviously I've ballasted all of this. I can't remember how much I showed you in the last update, so I'll just go over it again. But a few things which I've decided to do. In the gap here between these 2 tracks, I'm going to run a very narrow strip of static grass. This static grass you see here is going to run all the way down between these 2 tracks. All the way down these tracks here. So there's like grass between them, just a narrow strip running all the way down. A couple of bushes, maybe the odd plant, a small tree, something like that. When I mean a small tree, I mean like literally just a shrub of a tree, not full grown with branches and everything. That sort of thing is going to go in here. I've had a couple of ideas where I'm going to put trees and so on. Obviously this being the station, there's not going to be many trees, but I'm thinking of putting 1 or 2 fruit trees here. They look like they've been planted. Planted there by a man or something. So they're purposely there. And over near the back, the station over there, I'm going to put 1 or 2 trees that would have grown by themselves. So that's just sort of what I'm thinking. Why trees? Obviously on other boards there's going to be more trees and things like that, so this one is going to sit like this. Now I'm also thinking about signals. I now know the red obviously is stop and the yellow is distance, but this sort of area I'm only going to be needing the stop sort of one. Now I'm not sure if someone could just tell me, if you want to tell a loco that the points are switched to the left or whatever, is it the distance signal you use, or is there like another white signal or something that I don't know about? If you could just tell me, then that would be useful. And the style of signal I'm going for is the style that would have had like a lamp, you know, a red line with a green and red spot at each end, which a lamp would have gone through, like a paraffin lamp would have worked on. So that's the sort of ideas I'm going for. Sort of that sort of era and so on, I think will look quite good. Now I've been trying to work out how I can do the footbridge on the station. Now I think the only thing I can really do is buy a kit and then build myself the top bridge section, just use the steps running up the side. I think that'd be the easiest way of me getting exactly what I want. So anyway, that's just sort of the plans I've got for the station area and things that are happening here. As you can see, there's a nice bit of ballasting all done. I'm going to be adding shrubs and little bits of static grass, sort of like in patches, onto this in between the station and stuff. I'm actually going to go and have a look at a real steam railway station and just gauge what they actually look like in between the tracks, because I know in modern ones they're generally quite clean, but in older ones they might be grass and stuff. So that's enough about me rambling on, so I'll now get on to the other areas that I've been working on. Actually, bring her back into the shot. Now this is my GWR 45XX Lima model. And as you previously remember, she was a very, very noisy runner. The motor made quite a lot of noise. Well, since the last video, she's been completely stripped down. She has, well, I've oiled all of the drive mechanism on the side, all of the wheels, all of the axles. I've also oiled all of the gears and also the bearings on the motor. And she's so much quieter now. You might be able to hear it. And as well as that, she runs a little bit smoother. She didn't really have a problem with running, but she now runs at a lower speed, a bit smoother, which is really good. So that's enough on this. I'll now move on to the other area I've been working on. Right then, so yeah, I've literally just finished and haven't really cleared up my mess too well. But anyway, the track, the curves are now in. I've come up with my idea. I'll flick over to my computer in a minute and just show you the idea that I've come up with of what I'm going to do on this corner and the next straight that comes after it. But this track here is now all stuck down. I've moved on to cork, 1/16 of an inch cork, which is a lot easier to buy. I would have carried on using foam, but I just could not find it anywhere. Doesn't seem like anybody sells it in big rolls. You can buy it in like A4 size sheets, which isn't enough. So I went and got this cork. It's done this nicely. Now the thing which you notice is obviously I'm going around corners here, so I've had to cut the cork into lengths and stuck in one, and I've done it very accurately, so there's no gaps, which means obviously use less ballast when I do that section. So I've got a tutorial on how to use cork on corners. I'm not going to bother with on the straights because that's quite obvious. Cut it into a line and stick it down, as simple as that, which is quite easy. So that's quite good. Now I've also done something else. All of the joints now on every board I've done are all but one is 100%. The one I've left is because it's a siding joint, and I don't think a Loco's ever really going to go on it. Only a couple of wagons, so I don't really need to bother with that one as much. But all of these joints here, now to the finger, this one here is perfect. The top one is perfect. Now this one here is, actually, this one is perfect as well. I sorted that one. The other one I had a problem was the middle line, which you can see there, in between the station. For some reason it had dropped on one side and the Loco actually derailed when it went over it, which was really irritating. So since then I have I had to remove some of the ballast, put a wedge underneath the track, put the track back down, and it's now running nice and level, flat and smooth and everything. So that's really good. Now the other thing which I've done around here is down here. I've come up with the design of my sort of scenery that I want to do. So obviously this is the yard here area. I'm going to extend it from the back of the engine shed, which is just on the left of the camera. There I go. So I'm going to extend this. The glue's still wet, so I don't really want to touch anything. I'm going to extend it around, and this is going to be quite a large yard area. There's going to be a couple of lorries in there. There's going to be bits, there's going to be spare parts, things like that. There might even be a little shed or something in there for you know, tools and things like that to be kept in. I'm not really planning on doing anything like a coal station or water or anything like that. I'm going to be doing that at a different area. Saying that, I am going to be adding a water tank or pump or something to the station area, only if I can find something that looks correct. If not, I'm just going to leave it, and then I'll have that sort of area at a different station. So yeah, that's the plans I'm coming up with and so on. Now as you can see here, as it comes down, it slowly turns to tarmac there. Now it's not a main road this, so it doesn't look as good as the main road. The reason for that is I wanted to look a bit more rougher, so I've actually kept the glue quite lumpy, whereas on the road I spread the glue out very finely. And the reason I made it quite lumpy is obviously so it looks like there's bumps and ruts and stuff, and it looks like it's slightly disused bit of road. Obviously it's not, but that's what the effect I was going for. Now in this space you see behind it is going to be a very shallow hill. It's going to eventually become a field. There's going to be a track running up the side just here. Now in that field, I'm not too sure what I'm thinking now. I'm either thinking just animals in there. I might turn it into well, see, the problem I've got is it's not a huge field, so possibly the only thing that can really go in there is animals, you know, a couple of sheep or something like that. Now, in behind, where all the tools are, there's going to be a proper hill. It's going to start off, move the camera again, it's going to start off pretty much where this bottle is, right at the edge of the screen. It's then going to rise up to about 2 inches high by the time it gets to the that stuff's there, so it's quite a steep rise there, and I want this edge to like it's been cut out, so a face, and I want the other between the tracks also like it's been cut out, and then right at the back it's going to be quite high. So I wanted to look like this here was once a sloped hill that came down to about here, and this here is where it would have been the lowest point where this lower field is going to be. So hopefully that will sort of give you the idea of what I'm going for. Now, it's not going to be an 8 foot high sheer face. It's going to be, 8 inch high sheer face, like you'll see on some model railways. I want it to be more of a 3 foot drop. It's quite a shallow rising hill, hence why they didn't bother making a tunnel through it. They cut through it. And then that sort of there will extend around, and I've come up with a nice idea for the next section, which will eventually go off on that side of the screen. So I have to switch to the computer now, so I can show you all that. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover this update. Scenery-wise, there's 2 things which I want to show you on my control panels. So then these are the control panels which I've shown you a little while ago. And I was saying to you that the best way to do it is to use a probe, so you can tap all the connections and stuff. And I was currently just using this piece of wire here, obviously it was about 8 foot longer, with then a soldered end to it and just tapping it. Well, if anybody knows electricals and electrical stuff, you'll know that there's this voltage testers you can get. And the way you test them is you use these. And you just plug these onto either end of your whatever you want to test, and you turn on the voltage, and it gives you a current. So this here is from an old one. Unfortunately, the reader wasn't reading properly. Something got damaged in it. New batteries didn't help or anything. So I was able to just cut off the ends, and I'm now using these here as my probes, and they work really well. There's a nice handle you can hold, and when you touch it, they work. I mean, as you can hear, everything is working. The only thing it's missing is I'm going to put 2 nails in, and they're going to be the same width as that. Then there's like a lip. You can just about see it there. That lip's going to just hang there, and that's all you do is you grab it, you lift it off, you touch it, you hook it back on. Now I've got 2 of those. Obviously got 2 control boards. I unfortunately don't have any more of them at the moment. I've got to wait and see if I can find another one of these that's gone wrong. But when I do, I'm going to have control panels for all my other points and so on. So then I will. There we go. So this is the track plan which I've slowly been working on, and every now and then I add a section to it. I've still got to build this section here, but yeah, I'm getting onto that slowly. So this is the section here which I've just showed you in the video. I've got the corners now in, all stuck down, everything. So I'll just quickly show you the track work that I'm planning to do. Now this is the next board that I'll be making. Yeah, that's right, this is the next board I'll be making. And as you can see, I've got point work in there that allows you to go from the branch line to the main line. Now there will be at some other point in the track a switch that goes the other way, so you don't have to reverse locos over this section. I just think it will look a bit better like that. So there's a little bit of flexi track in there which just finished it off quite nicely. Now, it's quite simple here what I'm planning to do. This here is going to be a siding. It will probably be about a foot longer than what it is there, depending on if I add a corner to this section here, the next board section, or if I add another straight section to it. I'm just not quite sure which one I'm doing at the moment. So when I get round to that, I will, well, yeah, I'll obviously add it onto the track plan. So you may have noticed all the greenery. That there is basically the hills that I've designed. Now this one here is the lowest, quite shallow hill. Then this one is the middle size. Then it gets bigger. And the way this hill would have worked is this here being the lowest, this being the highest point. So it would have sloped up that way. Then this here being the highest point, this here being the lowest point, and it would have sloped up that way. But as well as that, it would have sloped, this being high and this being low, so that way. So it would have been quite a hilly sort of landscape, and it obviously wasn't deep enough to cut to cut a tunnel through the hill. So instead they just did cutting, and they ended up with this. So this will give you a nice view of how it's going to look. Let me just get into the right position at least. There we go. So as you can see, nice bit of hill work there. As you can see, lower, higher, highest, and then if I move across a bit and swing round slightly, there we go. There you go, you can now see the gap in between the two hills with the slopes running down. Now this hill here will extend all the way along the back of the board, so it's not just going to sort of like disappear. I think that's going to be quite good. It's going to look really nice as well, so it's just going to carry on along the hill, which will be quite good. So anyway, yeah, that's the sort of plan that I'm coming up with. Hopefully it'll look like that. Now the area that I just showed of the yard is in this section here, and the road will go off like that. One other thing to say about this section here is in this area here, these two tracks here is going to be the watering station area and possibly a coaling station for the branch line. So this is going to be like a worker's yard. Not going to be much stuff there, but there's going to be room that lorries can come in to, you know, drop off coal and stuff. There's going to be a water tower or something like that, but I have to see how much room I've got before I sort of settle on that design. So that's the idea that I'm coming up with. Hopefully it'll be quite good.